Hello and welcome. I'm Claire Pride. Coming up, as the economic and political crisis in Venezuela worsens, we have a report on the women leaving the country to give birth in Colombia because hospitals there are better equipped. Donald Trump's new chief of staff, John Kelly, seeks order at the White House, firing the president's colourful communications director. Anthony Scaramucci, the latest in a long line of people whose stint in the West Wing was short-lived. And the great American eclipse. Millions of people clearing their diaries for August 21st, the day the sun disappears for 2 minutes. We start with major developments in Venezuela this week. On Sunday, there was an election for an assembly that can change the constitution, the opposition describing it as a move towards dictatorship and contesting the government's turnout figure of 41.5%. Then, two opposition leaders, Leopoldo López and Antonio Ledesma, were seized from their homes and hauled off to jail. There's now much more talk of Venezuela being on the brink of civil war. Now, because of Venezuela's economic crisis, more and more women are heading to neighbouring Colombia to give birth. There's a shortage of medicine and food back home, and hospitals are under-equipped. That means the risk of dying while giving birth is greater.
Diana is in her 9th month. Although she suffers from pregnancy fatigue, she considers herself fortunate. Here in Colombia, the 21-year-old can give birth without it becoming a matter of life and death. Diana is one of many women who have fled neighbouring Venezuela to look outside their crisis-stricken country's borders for vital care.
Back at home, I preferred to give the food to my child who was small, rather than eat myself. Why? Because we're not going to let our kids go hungry. It affected me because I'd recently gotten pregnant and I didn't know. I only found out when I was 11 weeks into the pregnancy.
Next door, another patient from Venezuela. In her native country, Marbella would have had to purchase all the surgical equipment for her C-section. Not only were the supplies out of her budget, but they were also hard to come by.
We have nothing in Venezuela, not even vaccines for the children. When I gave birth, I missed 2 vaccines. We couldn't buy them. We couldn't find them in clinics. Nothing.
Today, amid a political crisis, severe shortages of medicine and food as well as violence are driving out more and more people like Diana and Marbella. This hospital has taken care of 14,000 women this year alone. Last September, photos of newborns placed in cardboard boxes in a maternity ward made the rounds on social media. According to the Ministry of Health, the country's infant mortality rose 30% in 2016. Maternal mortality is reported to have shot up 65%.
Pregnant women must have regular checkups, and we have seen patients arriving without any. Those without prenatal screenings are immediately classified as high-risk patients.
For some mothers, the sacrifice is even greater. At times, they're forced to leave children behind to be looked after by other family members.
Next, a report on the White House staff's turnover rate. Anthony Scaramucci, Reince Priebus, Sean Spicer, all gone within the space of 10 days. Donald Trump's response? No White House chaos. He's chosen a former Marine general as chief of staff. Catherine Viet reports.
Call it Survivor, the White House edition. Since taking office, Donald Trump has had nothing but staffing woes.
We have this constant, for the last 11 days, we have this constant shuffle of senior West Wing staffers that is really just sort of capping off very intense, sometimes roller coaster 6 months in the White House with the Trump administration.
But with his new chief of staff at the helm, Trump has tweeted it's a great day at the White House. Retired 4-star General and Homeland Security Advisor John Kelly has stepped into the role recently vacated by Reince Priebus. He's vowed to impose discipline and order at the White House, and his first move was the ouster of Anthony Scaramucci after just a week and a half at his post. The brand new White House Director of Communications was supposed to reset the administration's message. Instead, he launched into a foul-mouthed tirade against his colleagues to a reporter, turning the spotlight on himself and not in a good way.
I sometimes use colourful language. I will refrain in this arena, but not give up the passionate fight for Donald Trump's agenda.
But before his abrupt departure, Scaramucci managed to shake up his department. He promoted Sarah Huckabee to press secretary after Sean Spicer resigned in protest over his appointment. Spicer's bumpy 6-month tenure was marked by repeated jokes at his expense on late-night TV comedy shows. And it was Scaramucci's ongoing feud with Priebus that helped push him out the door. Priebus may well go down in history as the shortest-serving chief of staff in the White House, with just 189 days on the job.
There's a lot of excitement in the US in the lead up to August 21st's solar eclipse. It's set to sweep over the entire country. The sun will be completely blocked out for 2 minutes over a 110-kilometer-wide area, with millions of people expected to look up at the sky then. That's a lot of potential buyers of eclipse glasses. Sanam Chantier has more.
A diamond ring just before totality. This is what millions of eyes will be fixed on when a solar eclipse crosses the US on August 21st. People within a 110-kilometer-wide strip stretching from Oregon to South Carolina will be able to enjoy the spectacle. Those clamoring to get into its path will also be able to see some of the brighter stars and planets in the sky.
When the moon blocks out the disk of the sun, we can see things that are a billionth as bright as the surface of the sun, and we can see them right down to the edge of the sun. I've been in solar physics, solar science for my entire career, and I'm getting goosebumps. It is going to be fabulous.
During the eclipse, leading scientists will study the sun's complex and mysterious magnetic field. A team from NASA will even chase the moon's shadow from 2 high-altitude jets. But that's not all.
You know, the amazing thing is from space, NASA is going to be observing this eclipse with 11 different spacecraft. So it's a chance to actually study the very close levels of the solar atmosphere.
As a swathe of the US plunges into darkness, it's likely many eyes will be staring up at the sky from behind special glasses churned out by company in Tennessee.
2 years ago, we started preparing for it, first with the development of a website, eclipseglasses.com, and then starting to design different stock brands. In an hour, we can manufacture more than 50,000 glasses an hour.
If you missed this one, the good news is you'll only need to wait another 7 years for the next solar eclipse to cross the US.
Now, one of the catchiest songs on the radio at the moment, Despacito, isn't just boosting the careers of Luis Fonsi and Daddy Yankee, it's also making Puerto Rico's tourism industry happy. That's where the singers are from and where their record-breaking video was made.
Despacito, quiero respirar tu cuello despacito.
Despacito is the most streamed song of all time and on the verge of being the most watched on YouTube. The hit is almost single-handedly reviving reggaeton as its catchy beat resonates with people across the globe.
People want to sing along even though they don't know what they're saying. I've been to Holland and Germany and I hear people singing. It's really interesting that the language doesn't matter. The flavor, the rhythm, and the music, that's what matters. That makes me very happy.
And its music video has helped shine a spotlight on the neighborhood of La Perla in Puerto Rico's capital. The once avoided barrio is now brimming with tourists trying to visit the locations where the mega hit was filmed, like the rocks where Luis Fonsi sings the chorus, and the seawall where an ex-Miss Universe strolls at the start.
I came here for Despacito. I want to see where they shot the music video. It's a nice place. I like it. I want to see around. Yeah, it's a very good place.
The song's success is helping to turn around the barrio's negative reputation. Independently of Despacito, local residents had already been making improvements to one of the poorest communities in San Juan.
People say that years ago it was a dangerous neighborhood with a lot of gangs, and people still think that's the case, that they can't come here because it's dangerous. Once they get here, they realize that it's not like this anymore and think that it is worth the effort.
And all these tourists are a boost to local businesses, like the bar at the heart of the video, La Factoría.
People request the song every day. Our resident DJ has a musical selection to cater to everyone's taste, but not a day goes by without it being requested 15, 20, 30 times.
It's too soon to know if the hit will be a boost for tourism across the island as a whole, but any increase to the multi-billion-dollar industry would be good news for the US territory that was forced to declare bankruptcy in May.
Now, whether you're a cat or a dog person, you're bound to find this amusing. Dogs in El Salvador taking part in a costume contest. There was a doggy astronaut, a dog dressed up as Mexican artist Frida Kahlo with her famous unibrow, as you can see there, a doggy pirate, and much, much more. Pawsome looks, I say, all winners. In my book. We leave you with those images from El Salvador. Thanks for watching. Do stay tuned.
روح مهنية شعارها واحد، حرية التعبير. هذه هي بصمة France 24.
Africa on France 24 is about its people and their stories.
France 24, c'est la richesse de la diversité culturelle mondiale avec un réseau de correspondants à travers la planète.
العالم يغلي، يعاني، يتقدم ونحن نغطي الأحداث وب3 لغات.